time, Mr.
Thank you. So I'm Noah Burns. I'm one of the co-directors along with Nathan Corliss, and so we're presenting the marriage of Figaro tonight. So I just want to say a couple really quick things before we get started. First is the ever important reminder to turn off cell phones, cell phone ringers, other beeping, noise-making devices, those sorts of things. And the second is just to say how glad I am, and I think all of us are, that we can do this, that we can actually be here together and have real theater, and without masks, and for the actors anyway, you all both have masks. Just I think that's really wonderful. It's been a long and complicated process. There have been a few COVID hiccups along the way, but we are really happy and really proud of what we put together. So there's been, we delayed the play. There were some compromises along the way. We had to practice outside for the first 2.5 months. We had to wear masks inside after that. We're not in the assembly hall like we normally would be. Since we delayed, we ended up having kind of a, it was a crunch time these last couple weeks. So we're not used to this, but because of that crunch time, for example, we only have 3 lights instead of our lovely normal mixture of lots of different lights. We use recorded music at one point, which is not something we usually do. So I know the shock and horror. But all that said, we're really happy to be here. So I guess that's enough rambling. And with that, we took 10 seconds to go get my mask from the teacher's lounge and then enjoy the show.
19 feet by 26 feet.
Look, Figaro, my little hat. Do you think it looks better like this?
Incomparably better, my sweet.
What are you measuring over there, my darling?
My little Suzanne, I'm checking to see whether this beautiful bed that his lordship, the Count, has given us will go well here.
In this room?
He's given us the room too.
I don't want it.
Why?
I just don't want it.
But why?
I don't like it.
People usually have a reason.
I have one. It's here.
Well then why don't you let it travel over here?
Are you my servant or aren't you?
You're getting upset over the most convenient room in the castle. It's right between their bedchambers. If her ladyship is feeling ill during the night, she need only ring her bell and you're there in 2 steps. His lordship wants something, he need only ring his and I'm there in 3 shakes.
Indeed, but when he rings in the morning and sends you off on some good long errand, in 2 steps he's at my door and in 3 shakes.
Good God, what is it?
Tired of courting the beauties in the countryside, his lordship, the Count Almaviva, wants to come home. But not to his wife, to yours. Can't you see that he's sown his plots carefully? And the weeds are about to choke us out. His loyal Basil, my noble singing teacher, tells me about it incessantly during our singing lessons. Do you really think, innocent, that the dowry he's giving me is because he likes you?
I've done him enough service to hope so.
Clever men are such idiots.
So they say.
If only they would listen to themselves. Now listen to this. He plans to obtain secretly his ancient lord's rights. Do you remember that horror?
Indeed I do. And if he hadn't abolished that shameful right when he married his wife, I never would have married you in his domain.
Well, if he abolished it, he has repented. And he wants to redeem himself today.
If only there was some way to catch his gracious servant in some trap.
Are you afraid?
It's easy to undertake a dangerous scheme, but to escape from it without putting yourself in peril is something else entirely.
Her ladyship is awake. Farewell, my Figaro. Dream up some solution to our problem.
A little kiss to inspire me?
Kiss my lover today, and What would my husband say tomorrow?
My lord, my dear noble lord. So you want to put over on me? Why, hurry off one minute with the mail. You take my little beauty for a stroll down the primrose path. You want a dance, Count? Oh, we'll dance. But I'll be playing the guitar, and you'll be dancing to my tune. There's the doctor. The party's now complete. Good day, dear doctor. Has my wedding to Suzanne brought you to the castle?
Not at all, my dear man.
It would certainly be generous of you,
Certainly, and also stupid.
because I had the gall to thwart your marriage to your own ward.
Do you have anything interesting to say to me? Leave us alone, you gas bag.
You angry doctor? You are the sort of person to have more mercy for animals than for human beings. Farewell. Ah, Marcelin, you still trying to sue me? For not lovers must we hate each other?
That buffoon is still the same.
You're the same, you old quack. Always so grave and somber, your patients could die if you looked at them. The Countess got married despite your schemes, remember?
I remember you being bitter and annoying, and I see you haven't changed either. What makes my presence at this castle so necessary? Did the Count get in some sort of accident?
No, doctor.
That is, God willing, that deceitful Count is ill.
She's languishing.
And why is that?
Take today, for example. The Count is marrying Suzanne to his Figaro, whom he's favoring with the marriage, though he has designs on the wife, according to Basil.
That bastard lives here too. What's he up to?
All the mischief he's capable of, but the worst part is that boring infatuation he's had with me for all these years.
I would have gotten rid of that 10 times over by now.
How?
By marrying him.
A tasteless and cruel joke. Would you have gotten rid of me the same way? Aren't you even obligated to? Where's the memory of your commitment? Whatever happened to our little Emmanuel, the fruit of our forgotten love, that should have led us to our own wedding?
Did you drag me all the way from Seville just to hear this nonsense? As a doctor, I'd say you're suffering from a bout of marriage fever and it's making you hysterical.
Fine, let's not talk about it anymore. But if you won't have the decency to marry me, at least help me marry someone else.
Ah, gladly. What mortal man forsaken by God and women did you have in mind?
Who else, doctor, but the handsome, jovial, amiable Figaro?
That scoundrel?
Never angry, always in a good mood, giving himself to the present moment, leaving the past in the past. He's lively, generous, as forgiving as
As a thief.
a lord.
And Suzanne?
She's a fox who won't have to know anything about it if you help me quietly make him make good on his promise to me.
And the marriage?
They get canceled all the time.
You're right. It is a good bit of revenge to make my old governess marry the man who prevented me from marrying my old ward. And he stole a small fortune from me, too. I have not forgotten that.
Ooh, what a thrill it will be.
To punish that villain!
No, to marry him, doctor, to marry him. To marry him? To marry him who, by Figaro? Why not? You're marrying him.
We were just saying, lovely Suzanne, how happy he'll be once you're his.
Unlike the Count, whom we are certainly not talking about.
At your service, madam. There's always something bitter in your words.
And at yours, madam. Where's the bitterness, though? Isn't it just and fair that a liberal lord share in the happiness of his men?
Happily, madam's jealousy is so well known that nobody will believe her lawsuit regarding Figaro.
I'd have a better claim if I tried to strengthen it the way you are about to.
All right, farewell, bride-to-be of Figaro.
On loan to his lordship,
Venerable madam,
madam has a delightful personality.
which is why a more distinguished madam will lose.
Madam is so polite.
Politeness, a virtue for elderly housekeepers.
Elderly housekeeper!
Marcellin!
Let's go, doctor. I can't take any more of this. Good day, madam.
Good day, pedant. Look at that old Sybil. Because she has a little education, she thinks she ought to run the place. She brings the worst out of everyone and calls it justice. If it is, it makes me want to be wicked. Now I've forgotten why I came in here.
Oh, Suzanne! For 2 hours I've been trying to get a moment alone with you. Alas, you're getting married, and I'm being sent away.
How is my marriage sending away the castle's head page?
Suzanne, he's sending me away.
What are you talking about?
He came in last night when I was in Planchette's room. I was helping her with her lines for the innocent girl in tonight's pageant. He went crazy when he saw me there. Get out, he said. You little... I'm not allowed to speak the awful word he used in the presence of a woman. Get out, and tomorrow you'll no longer be inside this castle. If my godmother, the Countess, can't talk him down, I'll be forever deprived the happiness of seeing you.
Seeing me? Why me? Is it my turn? Aren't you still secretly sighing for her ladyship?
She is very noble and beautiful, but also kind of intimidating.
You mean I'm not?
You know full well that you are, but you're so lucky that you get to see her all the time, to talk to her, to hold up her dress, to pin up her hair. Oh, Suzanne, what I want to get... What do you have there?
Oh, this? Just the happy bonnet and lucky ribbon that embrace the hair of a certain godmother, the Countess, every night.
Her ribbon? Give it to me, my dear.
Your dear, how informal he is.
You can say that it was lost or damaged, whatever you want. Just let me keep it. And although the memory of her ladyship will weigh in my thoughts, the memory of you will become the sole ray of delight, still able to warm my heart.
Warm your heart? Little villain, you think you're talking to Fanchette.
It's true. I admit it. I don't know who I am anymore. My heart flutters at the mere glimpse of a woman, and the thought of the word love makes it flutter until the need to say, I love you, becomes so strong that when I'm running alone through the grounds, I say to you, to her ladyship, to the trees, to the clouds, to the winds that sweep away my words. The other day, I even said it to Marceline. Why not? She's a woman. How sweet the word is.
You're going crazy.
Fanchette's sweet. She listens to me. You don't listen at all.
I feel just awful about that. Now, you should listen to me.
I'll defend it with my life. And if that's not enough for you, I'll throw you 1,000 kisses and I'm done for.
What are you doing? Oh.
You seem nervous, Suzanne.
My lord, what do you want? If someone were to see you here.
I would be sorry if someone surprised me here. But you know the interest I've taken in you. I'd like only a moment to explain myself. Please listen.
I won't listen. If I dare to speak freely.
Oh, yes, speak, my dear. Free speech is a right you always have with me.
I don't want it. Just leave me alone.
First, say what you were going to say.
Can't remember what I was going to say.
I'll stay here until you do.
Fine. When my lord stole his wife away from the doctor and married her, he abolished a certain horrible right of his.
No, Suzanne, a charming right. You misunderstand. Why don't you come chat with me later in the garden? We'll talk it over.
Well, he's not in his room.
Whose voice is that?
Now I'm done for too.
Go make sure he doesn't come in here.
His lordship went to see her ladyship, but he's not there anymore. I'll try and hear.
There's nowhere to hide. Behind this chair.
Have you seen his lordship, miss?
Why would I have seen him? Leave me alone.
If you weren't so hot-headed, you'd find there's nothing astonishing in my question. Figaro is looking for him. If that little page wasn't around.
Carabino?
Cherubino di Amore. You know, the one who was lurking around, always following you. Who just this morning was trying to get in here as I was leaving. Say it isn't true.
Get out, you wicked man.
One is only wicked when he sees clearly. And didn't he write that secret love song about you?
Yes.
Unless he wrote it about the Countess. Indeed, they say he makes eyes at her at the dinner table. But he should watch his step instead. Countess brutal on that score.
And you're a scoundrel, going about spreading rumors that endanger an unfortunate child who's fallen into disfavor with his master.
Could I make it up? I'm only saying what everyone else is saying.
What is everyone saying?
Oh, God.
Run and have him chased out of the house. She's going to faint. Sit him down in this chair.
I don't want to sit down.
The little libertine. Only yesterday, I caught him talking to Fanchette. I was in the garden looking for her Uncle Antonio, my drunk gardener, as to give him some instruction. I knock. Your cousin answers the door, nervously, so I'm suspicious. I investigate. Behind the door, there's a sort of hung curtain over this I don't know, maybe a linen closet. So, casually, I slowly draw back the curtain. And I see... Incredibleness. I will not allow Figaro, a man I love and respect, to become a victim of this kind of deceit.
There's no deceit and no victim. He was here while I was talking to you. He had come to ask me to ask her ladyship to ask you for forgiveness. You scared him when you showed up, so he got behind the chair.
That's a lie. I hid there a few moments ago.
Excuse me, but that's when I snuck into the seat.
And that means this little snake was listening.
Oh, no, on the contrary, my lord. I did everything I could not to hear.
Only you could have taken this part, madame.
Look at them, Count. They think I have some influence, but their petition isn't unreasonable.
What do you want?
My lord, your vassals, touched by the fact that you abolish a certain unfortunate right out of love for your wife, think it is high time the virtues of such a master were made public. After all, everyone knows virtue is only virtue if everyone knows about it. Come now. What could be better than a symbolic display of virtue that doesn't cost you anything?
The abolition of such a dreadful right is merely the acquisition of an obligation to decency. It's the right of a tyrant, not a nobleman.
And you are a nobleman, aren't you? Then swear by this young creature, whose honor your wisdom has preserved, will receive this bridal bonnet, decorated with white feathers and ribbons, symbols of the purity of your intentions. Adopt this ceremony for all marriages in the future, to preserve the memory of this forever. But all together now, long live the Count!
Why are you fleeing from praise you so richly deserve?
I add my voice to theirs, my lord, and this ceremony will be even dearer to me, as it takes its origin from the charming love you once had for me.
And love I still have, my lady. It is on account of that love that I yield.
Hooray!
So that the ceremony can be even more splendid, let's just push it off until a little later today.
You little imp, why are you clapping?
He's depressed. His lordship is sending him away.
I ask you to pardon him.
He doesn't deserve it.
He's so young.
Not as young as you might think.
You didn't give up the right to pardon, did you?
He's only renounced the right to violate rights.
And if he had given up his right to pardon, I'm sure it would be the first one he tried to secretly reinstate. Definitely not the other one.
Of course.
I was lax in my conduct, my lord, but I've never revealed any information indiscreetly. Until now, anyways.
All right, that's enough. You're pardoned.
What indiscretion are you talking
I
about?
said enough. He's pardoned. I'll forgive him so much that I'll promote him and assign him to my legion, on the condition that he leave for Catalonia immediately.
I will obey.
Say goodbye to your godmother and ask her to say a prayer for you. You're going to need it.
Farewell, young man. A new life is calling you, faced with dignity. But remember this house where you grew up surrounded by so much kindness. Be obedient, honest, brave, and forgiving.
You seem awfully invested in him, miss.
I can't help it. Who knows what might happen to such a young boy thrown into such a dangerous career? Well, perhaps you know.
Young man, embrace Suzanne for the last time.
That won't be necessary. Come back to spend his winters here. Correct, Carabino.
Where's Marceline?
My lord, she's gone to town.
When is she coming back?
Whenever it pleases God.
Let's hope it never pleases him.
She was on the arm of the doctor. She grabbed him and went off. She seemed angry. She was talking very loudly. And then she'd stop and go like this with her arms.
No, it's more like this. I was worried about her, such an old woman.
And then the doctor tried to calm her. She seemed furious with my cousin Figaro.
Ah, cousin to be. Or not to be. My lady, let us be going.
I want to see you later, Figaro.
Do you think it worked?
My innocent.
All right. Now let's swap the abolition ceremony. Our next task is my wedding this year. You must remember not to play those actors. You never act so poorly. Ah, Basil, there you are. You barebacks supposed on the creeks are actually awake. Take a seat. We must remember, we don't have a second performance to make up for screwing up tonight. We have to get our lines right the first time.
But my part is harder than you think.
And Pinchette still doesn't know her lines.
Then what has she been doing for the last 8 days?
You're off stage for a while now. Why don't you help her out?
You forget that I'm
You
leaving.
don't have to be cunning. Not a word when you leave. Shroud the cloak over your shoulder. Load your baggage conspicuously. Let them see you ride as far as the gate. Then dismount and return by the back way. His lordship will think you've gone. Stay out of his sight. I'll propitiate him after the wedding.
Shut the door, Suzanne, and tell me everything in the greatest possible detail.
I won't hold anything back.
So he tried to seduce you.
Oh no, my lord wouldn't go through all that trouble for a servant. He tried to buy me.
And the little page was there.
He had tried to hide himself behind the big chair. He had come to ask me, to ask you, to ask the count to pardon him.
Why didn't he just come to me? Did he think I'd refuse?
That's what I said. He can't stand the thought of leaving, mostly of leaving you. Oh, Suzanne, she's so beautiful and noble, but also a little intimidating.
Is that how I seem? I've always tried to look out for him.
And he saw the ribbon of yours that I was holding, and he grabbed it.
My ribbon. How childish.
I tried to grab it back, but he looked at me with crazy eyes and said, "You'll have it back over my dead body." That sweet little voice of his. And since he didn't dare to kiss your ribbon, he ended up trying to kiss me.
Is that also how my husband acted?
He implied that if I didn't go along, he'd back Marceline's suit.
He doesn't love me anymore.
And why is he so jealous?
Because he's a man. Nothing but pride. But I won't punish you for speaking freely or take out my anger on you and Figaro. Only he can help us. Is he coming?
Indeed he is. My Figaro, come in. You're just in time. Madame is very distressed.
There's no reason to be, my lady. Now, the way to get back at those who hurt your plans is to ruin theirs. If we're going to be as methodical as he, we should cool his interest in our affairs by making him uncertain of his own.
Well said, but how?
It's already been done, my lady. A false rumor's been spread about you.
About me? Have you lost your mind?
That's what he's going to do.
He's such a jealous man, though.
Exactly. To manipulate this sort of man, all that's necessary is to get his blood boiling. You've said it yourself, I'm sure. Once he's all red and angry, we can lead him with a measly stream of intrigue, like a servant, wherever we want. Into the Guadalquivir, if that's what we feel like. Now, Basil has delivered a letter to his lordship, warning him that some suitor will be looking for you during the party this evening.
What about Marceline?
I'm not worried about her. I sent word to his lordship, that you meet him in the garden at dusk.
Do you think it will work?
Listen, people who don't try to make something out of nothing, get nothing are good for nothing. That's my motto.
She's not actually going to go, though, right?
Of course not. I'm going to dress someone up as her. We'll ambush him when he arrives.
Who's going to dress as me?
Carabina.
He left.
Not exactly. Now, are you going to help me?
You can always count on Figaro to pull off a plot.
2, 3, 4 at a time, as tangled as you like. I was born to be a politician.
They say it isn't easy.
Get, take, steal, secret in 3 words. Now, while his lordship is still out, I'll send Carabina to you. Dress him, coif him, and keep him here. Then it'll make you dance, my lord.
Good Lord, Suzanne. I'm so nervous about him coming here. I'm going to give him a good scolding, but really, my hair is such a mess.
Come in. I'm sure you've been told we intend to liven up tonight's proceedings, and that to do so, we'll need to know if any of my dresses will fit you. Let's see, you're about my size. Take off your coat.
What if someone comes in?
So, what are we doing wrong? Still, I'll lock the door. Now, what do we have here? Would you look at
arrange the collar a little bit more effeminately.
Beautiful, but I'm a little worried about his hair.
There's a bonnet on my dresser.
Why is it locked?
God, it's the Count. You without your vest on, bare-armed, alone with me? The letter is jealousy.
Why aren't you opening the door?
Because I'm alone.
Then who are you talking to?
To you, of course.
After this morning, you'll have me killed.
You don't usually lock your door.
I was changing. I was just trying something on with Suzanne, and she just ran off to her room.
You seem nervous.
I was just surprised. Suzanne and I were just talking about you, and she just left, as I told you.
You were talking about me. I came back because I was worried. As I was getting on my horse, I was handed a letter. I didn't believe any of it, as I always believed the best in you. But it still upset me.
A letter, you say?
What was that noise?
Noise?
Someone knocked over a piece of furniture.
I didn't hear anything.
And why are you suddenly so nervous? There's someone in the closet.
Really? Who could that be?
That's what I'm asking you.
It's Suzanne. She's putting things away.
She said she went to her room.
Went to her room, went to the other room. I don't know.
Come on out, Suzanne. Servant, I order you to come out.
She's dressing.
Fine then, talk. Answer me, Suzanne. Are you in there?
Suzanne, I forbid you to answer.
Then we're going in there.
I understand you own the rest of the castle and everywhere else, but I would think I have the right to privacy in my own room.
I'm going to get the key to this door, and so that everything remains exactly as I left it, you're coming with me.
Come on, you only have a second.
How do I get out of here, though?
I don't know, and I don't care. Just get out and find Figaro.
I think the window's low enough to jump from.
You're crazy. It would kill you.
I'd rather die than causing harm. Listen, if I don't make it...
Yeah.
All right. Everything is exactly as I left it. Now, will you open this door, or shall I?
Listen to me, Count, calmly.
Ugh, I knew it. It's the man from the letter.
More like a child.
The little page. Ugh, I'll kill him. Say the name.
Yes, it's Carabino.
Oh, I knew it. Every word of that letter was true. I believed it from the start.
Don't let your suspicions get the better of you. I know it looks bad, and he's only half-dressed.
Half-dressed?
Don't kill him!
Stand back!
Suzanne!
Don't worry. It is all gone.
There's no one else here. Madam, was this all just some little comedy?
Why not?
Because that's a terrible joke to play on me. Why would you do this?
Why shouldn't I have? You deserve it for your outrageous behavior.
It was a matter of honor.
Only a lord like you would dare to claim you had the right to behave that way.
Rosina!
I'm no longer Rosina. I'm the countess whom you do not love.
Please, have mercy on me.
Like you had mercy on me.
I'm sorry.
All right, I forgive you. Don't know why.
Heard the Countess was taken ill.
It's very conscientious of you.
All part of being your servant.
As you can see, she's fine. She will need someone to watch over her, so that the man from your letter doesn't try to approach her.
My letter? What letter?
Knock it off. What do you want?
You really must put bars over the window that looks out to my flower beds. People throw all kinds of things out these windows. In fact, someone just threw a man out of them.
Out of these ones?
Look what it did to my carnations!
My lord, he's been drunk since this morning as usual.
I haven't anything to drink today. I'm just a bit tired from drinking yesterday. The judgments people make.
Wait, where is this man?
You mean the window man?
Yes.
That's what I was trying to say. He's got to be around here somewhere. I'm your gardener, so I'm the only one who tends to your gardens. So when someone falls in the garden, it's my reputation that gets trampled. And my carnations!
Well, what did he look like?
Well, he was wearing a red cloak, and he sure ran fast out of there, too. I would have gone after him if I hadn't shoved my hand in the garden gate.
What a lot of nonsense over a flower pot. Look at this crybaby and his carnations. There's no need to search for this man. It was me.
Your body must have grown in just a few minutes. The guy who jumped out looked a lot smaller and thinner.
Of course, when you jump, you scrunch up.
I don't know. I think it's a Carabino? That's the one.
Yes! He rode back just from Seville so you could jump out the window on a horse.
Wait. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. I didn't say a horse jumped out the window. I would have mentioned a horse jumping out the window.
I was in the service chamber, dressed in white. It was rather hot. I was waiting for my little Susie when his lordship came in like a raging bull in a china shop. I panicked and jumped into the flower beds to avoid the awkwardness. I didn't totally avoid it though, since I landed awkwardly on my right foot.
Well, I guess I should give you back this piece of paper you dropped after you landed.
Give me that. Sure it wasn't so awkward that you forgot what was on this paper.
Of course not.
It's Carabino's commission.
It's the commission.
It's the little page's commission. He gave it to me earlier and I must have forgotten to return it.
Why would he do that?
Because he wanted me to do something with it.
Oh, really?
What's it missing?
Count's seal.
It's the seal.
He says it usually has
As what?
your seal and coat of arms. Now, I believe it's time to give the orders for my wedding to take place.
Don't give the order, my lord. Before granting him favor, you should grant me justice. He's been engaged to me.
Engaged how?
Engaged to be married.
Engaged? It was a bill, just some loan money.
Alone on the condition that he would marry me.
Okay, bring the contract to court and I will make sure you all receive justice. Now, I suggest we leave the Countess to her own devices.
What should we do? We can't send Carabino in your place after everything that's happened.
Of course, I won't be going either. Guess my wedding will have to be called off too.
Wait, what if instead of you or someone else, I went myself?
You.
No one else would get hurt. The Count wouldn't be able to deny everything. You know, after having lived through one disaster, I'm actually rather ready for another. Tell him you will meet him in the garden, but don't tell anyone else.
Not even Figaro?
No! He'll want to meddle in it too.
Pedro!
Your Excellency, no one saw me.
You know what to do?
Take the fastest horse and ride straight to Seville. Ask if and how long the page has been there. If he hasn't been there, ride twice as fast back and tell you everything.
Why is the Countess playing these games with me? Suzanne finally revealed my proposition. I can neither control my emotions nor my subjects. As for Figaro, it's taking him so long. I need to question him carefully, discover whether or not he's learned of my feelings for Suzanne. If I learn she breathed one word of this, I'll make him marry the elderly housekeeper. Who's there?
Sire, respond to your orders.
I'd like to know what business kept you, even though I called for you.
Well, I fell in the flower beds, so I went to change.
It took you an hour.
It took time.
The servants here take longer to dress than their masters.
That's because they don't have any masters to help them.
I had intended to send you to London as my courier, but after thinking it over,
Has my lordship changed his mind?
well, for starters, you don't know any English.
I know how to swear. I feel that's really all you need to know to get around there.
He wants to go. That means she hasn't said anything.
He thinks I don't know anything. Let's keep it that way.
Why did the Countess play that trick on me?
I believe my lord knows more about it than I do.
You know you have a terrible reputation.
But I'm better than my reputation. Are there many counts who could say the same?
You know, with your great mind, you could end up with a prestigious government post.
Advancing government with a quick mind? You must be laughing at me. Be mediocre and servile. Now that's the way to get ahead.
I could teach you politics.
I know enough.
Like with English.
It's most about pretending you don't know what you know and promising more than you can deliver.
That's dishonesty, not politics.
Politics, dishonesty, close enough.
Don't be so cynical. For the most part, the nobility is sincere and even-handed. A model of temperance and humility.
Don Guzman Bridvoiseau, magistrate and officer of the court is here. Is everything satisfactory? I've made arrangements for the public hearing according to the principles of justice you described to me. I made sure that you have the biggest chair and that the riffraff stand in the back.
Thank you. Figaro, go with the clerk. You should be preparing your case. You're going to need a very convincing argument.
That bodes well.
Excuse me, my lord.
What do you want, miss?
Are you angry?
Is there some reason you're here?
My lady has the vapors. I've come to ask for your smelling bottle.
Keep it. You'll be needing it too.
Do ladies of my station get vapors? It's a terrible disease. You can only get it in the fancy rooms.
An insolent fiancée and one about to lose her future.
Isn't it my duty to obey my lord?
Cruel girl, why couldn't you have said that earlier?
Is it never too late to speak the truth or to redeem yourself?
You were rude to me this morning.
Carabino was listening.
Oh. Well then. You'll come to the garden this evening.
Don't I go there every evening?
No garden, no wedding.
No wedding, no garden. Go to court. You've just won your case.
What do you mean by that?
Your Honor, please, hear my case.
Very well. I want you to tell it to me verbally, using words.
It's about a marriage contract.
That accompanied a loan.
Yes, yes. Marriage, contract, loan, etc., and so on and so on.
No, Your Honor, not and so on.
I understand. You have the money?
No, Your Honor, I was the one that loaned it.
Ah, now I understand. You want your money back?
No, Your Honor, I want my husband.
Ah, now I fully understand. He wants to marry you?
No, that's why I'm suing him.
Do you think I don't understand what's going on here?
No, Your Honor, who is this guy? Are you really going to be judging our case?
Why else would I have bought my judgeship?
Ah, now I understand. But isn't it a scandal to buy a judgeship?
Why, yes. They should be giving them to us for free. So who are you suing?
I'm suing this liar.
I'm not bothering you, am I? Because if I am, I'll stay. Oh, look, here's the count.
You need not have dressed so formally, Mademoiselle. This is only a domestic dispute.
I never go anywhere without my fancy robes, my lord. It's essential. People laugh at a judge whose robes aren't fancy enough. But they're frightened and terrified by a judge with a frilly sash. Have them come in.
Enter!
Nobleman, indictment and recite the charges.
The noble, very noble, and infinitively noble Don Pedro George, gentleman, Baron of Los Altos and Montes Fieros and other mountains, versus Alonso Calderon, playwright. The lawsuit concerns the unamusing comedy which both deny having written and claims was written by the other. State your case.
Your Honor, I will come straight to the heart of the matter and eschew loquacity.
Bless you.
Thank you, Your Honor. But I am more than blessed to be in your august presence. Now, to put it as simply and briefly as possible, when two authors collaborate in the genesis of a theatrical opus, there's a fundamental and insoluble difficulty in assigning to each the moiety of credit that belongs rightfully to each. By what algorithm could we possibly assign an idea engendered by one colleague in the mind of the other? Perhaps not even designedly, but by pure coincidence alone. Now,
Slow down. I haven't the foggiest idea what you're talking about.
neither did the audience. I apologize, Your Honor. I thought I made myself quite clear. If I could just be allowed to finish.
No, you're giving me a headache. Let's hear from the other party.
Your Honor, it's quite simple. I, Don Pedro George, gentleman and baron of Los Altos
I
and
know
Montes.
who you are. Or at least I thought I did.
Your Honor, you see, I have no talent, and Mr. Calderon has too much. I thought we'd make a great team. He'd write the script, and I would put my name on it. He was supposed to write a comedy, but instead he wrote a treatise even the Germans didn't laugh at. Personally, I didn't understand enough of it to know whether or not it was funny. So I don't see how we can go around Europe with my name on it.
I doubt you really have to worry about that.
Your Honor, my esteemed colleague.
Oh, he's steamed all right. Look at his ears. They're bright red.
Yes, well, in any case, Your Honor, to conclude my prematurely truncated discourse, it was all his idea. But you actually wrote it! But you wanted the credit. You don't get to get out of it just because the credit ended up being abundant. I don't understand that either. It wasn't even funny. They're Americans. They laugh at anything. And they didn't even laugh.
Sometimes it's better if a joke is incomprehensible.
True. People are much less likely to take offense.
Stop! I can't take any more of this.
Where have I heard that before? You should be second credit. As a nobleman, I should have the right to refuse the credit.
You're both right. Case dismissed. If you two work together again, the nobleman gets the credit if the play succeeds, and the commoner if the play flops. That's the precedent around here, and I see no reason to alter it. Next case.
Andre Petruchio, laborer, versus the tax collector. The case concerns excessive taxation.
Oh, dismissed. There is no injury. The king likes taxes. The bigger, the better. And it's better to be in the king's favor than out of it. Next.
Marceline de Verdialud, oldest her father and elderly housekeeper, and the honorable doctor of medicine and apothecary, surnamed Bartholo, versus Figaro, no baptismal name.
Nobody.
Versus Figaro, nobody. The lawsuit concerns the marriage of said Mr. Nobody filed by said Marceline. Dr. Bartholo is presenting the suit, Figaro defending himself. Doctor, please step up and read out the charges.
Wait. She's suing nobody?
I'm suing him.
So you're suing somebody.
Yes.
Who?
Nobody.
I give up.
Great. Well, now that that's cleared up, I'll read out the contract.
Very well, doctor. But we shall need to examine it, inspect it, analyze it, euthanize it.
I understand. I, the undersigned, recognize that I have received from this here Marceline something aguas frescas, the sum of $2,000, which sum I shall repay her, and I shall marry her. Signed, Figaro. My lords, there has been no such lawsuit ever held before a court. Its implications
It is legitimate. It says or, not and. Which sum I shall repay, or I shall marry her.
And,
That's rather different.
Your Honor, only a coward would hide behind such hair splitting.
So does it say and or or?
Or!
What if it says both?
Could someone please just tell me, does it say and or? Or and? Or and. Or and or? Or?
It says and.
It says or.
Fine, I'll read it. In which the sum I shall repay her, and or I can't read it. It looks like it was written by a student. There's an ink blot there.
Oh, flat. I understand.
Your Honor, we will concede it says or.
We will?
I want that written down without any blots.
Your Honor, we cannot expect all blots to fall in our favor. It doesn't matter whether it says and or. As the great Herodotus once said, conjunctions do not rule men. Men rule conjunctions.
Hold on one moment, Dr. Bartholomew. I have just been told. I have just come to realize that there is only one possible ruling in this case. It is the judgment of this court that the document in question states that Figaro nobody shall pay or should marry Marceline, elderly housekeeper, or pay the $2,000. Therefore, this court orders Figaro to either marry her or pay the $2,000.
What? Can a man be forced to marry against his will?
No, but he can be forced not to marry against the Count's will.
I've won!
What about a nobleman? I was born to noble parents.
What? And I suppose you were found as a baby. Your Honor, this is absurd.
Lost as a baby. My parents gave me this distinctive mark, which they would recognize. I've been searching for them for 20 years.
Like a spatula on your right arm?
How did you know?
My son had a mark like that.
But if your son had a mark like that, and I have a mark like that,
It's him!
yes, it must be mutual. It's you!
Yes, it's me!
It's him. It's her. It's me. I'm me. We're all us. Who cares?
It's Emmanuel! He's Emmanuel!
You mean it's you? You're him?
Who are any of you?
You're my son, and he's your father!
I really did lose, didn't I?
You never had any feeling that I might
Never. You never had the feeling you might be?
I really hope not.
You can't marry her now.
I don't have to, do I?
Don't you? You swore back then that after he was born, you would support me and marry me.
I said support you or marry me. And besides, I was out of my mind. If I had to honor everything I said back then, I'd have to marry everybody.
You deplorable man! Do you have any idea what life was like for me once you'd left? How was it justice to ruin my life and my reputation, but both yours remain intact? And now, our son won't be able to marry without lawful parents. You let him—
All right. I must be a bigger fool than this guy. If you can forgive me, I'll marry you.
I forgive you.
Hooray!
Where's the Count?
I'll have to think of some way to make today even more joyous, I suspect. Let's go find him so we can help him?
Doberman, there's just one thing I don't quite understand.
What is it, Your Honor?
ceremony said, a bigger fool than this guy.
Ah, I believe he's going to need an even frillier sash to be taken seriously, Your Honor.
Ah, I understand.
What could happiness be this but Mastodon? Bartolo is going to marry Marceline. Happiness for us, I mean.
They say you don't know if someone's truly virtuous and happy till they're dead. Then you can look backwards over their whole life. Many times people think they're happy, and then something strange happens.
Stranger that's already happened? We took a dowry from a count, gave an orphan his parents back, and then that judge.
It didn't turn out at all like we planned.
True. I was hoping for richer parents. But you know what they say, rich parents are very expensive.
Why do rich people want them?
All the better for them. You know rich people. They want anything as long as it's expensive.
And are they happy?
The count certainly isn't. He has no faith in anything.
Are you really going to have faith in me? You're telling me the truth about that, aren't you?
The most honest truth I know.
There's more than one.
Of course. There are all kinds of truths. We've figured out false truths, as well as true truths, past truths, present truths, and future truths. But out of all of those, it's the future truths that are most honest, because they're the only ones that can turn out like we mean. Past truths are already false, and present truths are both partial and already out of our control. But future truths are both complete and under our control if we have the imagination necessary. Even the Count used to believe this. He's just being deceived. It's easy to be deceived by past and present truths.
Makes me happy when you say some nonsense like that. It means you really are happy. Now, about my meeting with the Count.
I know you agreed to go, just until I won my case. But there's no need to go anymore. I don't even think we should send Carabiner as a joke. You won't really go, will you?
I won't go.
You're telling me the truth.
I only know the one.
I'm glad to hear it.
Where are you going to meet him?
In the garden.
You have to choose somewhere specific. Take the pen on the desk and write this down. How sweet the gentle zephyr blows, under the chestnut tree he goes. Is that any good?
He'll get it. What should we seal it with?
A pin. Here.
The maidens from the village are here.
Lovely. I don't think I've met some of you before. Who is this shy, lovely girl?
This is my cousin, Countess. She came to the chateau for the wedding. She's so nervous to meet you that she almost fainted while we entered the room.
How charming. I can't hold all of these, so I'll just take this one here. Oh, careful! You don't want to... Suzanne, don't you think she looks familiar?
Very familiar.
She kissed me!
Telling you he's here.
Sure it's him?
Yes, I saw him. He was digging all the carrots out of the vegetable patch. Unless one of the village girls got hungry on the way to the castle. He was probably feeding to that horse that Mr. Nobody mentioned. You know, I never said the horse jumped out the window. I would have mentioned that.
Mentioned.
I did? Oh, there he is. I told you so.
That little page, it's him. It's always him. Countess, explanation, please.
I'm just as surprised as you are.
You. Why didn't you join the regiment?
I can explain.
The punishment for disobedience is not mild.
My lord, I know you're angry, but please, you always said that if I would kiss you, you'd give me anything that I'd like.
I said that.
Yes, many times, but I never did. But if you were to excuse Carabino and give him to me as my husband, I would be so happy I could kiss you.
It won't be necessary.
Well, Count, explanation, please.
As much as all of us are very interested to find out what I could possibly say right now, I'm afraid that the ceremony is about to begin. Everyone should get to their places.
change clothes. Where's Marceline? Give me that. I wrote her. I wrote her a song. Marceline, I've come to marry you.
Interesting. Go on.
Judge, paragon of justice that you are, I put my case in your ears.
Before you regale us with your recrudescent voice, I have a question for you. Have you ever seen a madman?
I'm looking at one now.
Yes, I know you can see your reflection in my eyes. Before you make your appeal, I have something to tell you that probably will make
Hey, let the man speak.
We're all friends and accomplices here, aren't we?
Friends,
with each other.
I have never in my entire life wished for any close association with this barbarous barber.
Do you really mean that?
With all my heart.
That's not much.
You see how he talks to me? There isn't a singer who has used my nasal resonance vocal technique and been cheered in every scene and they've sung in.
You mean jeered? And why can't I talk to you that way? Are you a count? No. Either you can afford people who will lie to you, or you have to listen to the truth.
And that would be?
If you want to marry Marceline, you have to adopt me too. I'm her son.
Your Honor, I withdraw my suit.
Wait, you can just ignore him. I'm planning to.
Your Honor, I withdraw my suit. I won't be this man's father.
Well, that's good. I don't like it when things get complicated.
Where are we supposed to set up the fireworks? Next to the chestnut tree, I think. Didn't the Countess say she's going to be ill? How will she be able to see from her room? What if we put them on the terrace next to the chateau? You could see them from the whole grounds and palace from there.
Have you seen Suzanne? I'm supposed to give her this pin.
I assume she's with the Countess if the Countess is feeling unwell.
I knocked on the Countess's door, but nobody answered.
See if you can find Figaro and ask him. And I just wanted to say, son, that I was wrong about Suzanne. She's a wonderful girl. I hope you'll be very happy together.
Why wouldn't we be? We've beaten the Count, which is the best wedding present I could hope for. Besides, no matter what happens, I have a philosophical disposition. I accept it all with equanimity. You have to forgive people before you even know what they've done.
Like you did with me?
Well, I forgave you. I just wasn't going to let the judge know about it until after the case was over. As for Suzanne, I forgive her for anything she might be doing right now.
Have you seen Suzanne? I'm supposed to give her this pin.
Pin? What pin? Who told you to give it to her?
Why should she tell you?
Because I already know. It was the Count who gave it to you to give to Suzanne.
Why did you ask if you already knew?
Because I was joking.
Joking. I didn't get it.
I'm not surprised. Now run along, dear to Suzanne. And there's no need to repeat my little joke to her.
I wasn't going to. It wasn't very funny.
A pin from the Count. Oh, Suzanne, how could you fool me?
You call that a philosophical disposition? Come on. How do you know she's fooling you and not the Count? Didn't you plan to deceive him earlier? What if she's continuing the ruse?
Of course, you're right. We'll have to figure out the truth.
He's so silly sometimes. I should go find Suzanne. She's such a nice girl. We used to be at each other's throats, but misfortune's really brought out the best in us.
Who's there? Figaro.
What are you doing out here?
Hiding in the bushes.
Why?
Never mind that. Are you three going to the reception?
Yes, aren't you?
Never mind that. Listen for my signal.
Why?
I said never mind. Just come when you hear me call out.
All right, come back.
Oh, Suzanne, deceitful woman. But who can change their nature? No, you're born one way, and getting older just means becoming more and more yourself. Just like the Count who wants to steal Suzanne from me. No, Mr. Count, you won't get her. Just because you're a great lord, you think you're a great genius. Nobility, fortune, rank, position, they all make you proud. But what have you done to deserve them? You're born, that's it. Meanwhile, I, lowborn, lost in the crowd, have had shown more knowledge and brains just to survive than counts have shown governing Spain for the last 100 years. Who's there? Nobody. Just a wind saying I'm a fool to play the part of the just husband. Lines don't come naturally to me. But it seems like that's the part that's written. How do I know my lines are supposed to be? I thought I was happy. Until something strange happens. What a strange life it is. Has anyone's life been stranger than mine? I can't change what I am. I'm always the same. Fate makes sure of that. Son of nobody as far as I knew. Set out to be an honest living in life, but in everything I do, I'm knocked down and kicked out. I do what they tell me to do. Study chemistry, pharmacy, surgery. But even with my diploma, I can't get a job except in the Count's stable. So I throw myself into the theater. I write a comedy, The Marriage, The Moors, The Moors. But apparently I offended just about everybody else as well. And now my play is buried along with my prospects. So I listen and tune myself in what everyone is talking about. And I write a treatise on the nature of wealth. I think I must be the perfect person to write about wealth objectively, since I don't have any. I have an outsider's perspective on the whole money phenomenon. Next thing I know, I'm in a carriage being carried behind the walls of a prison. My rights and freedoms are gone. Oh, these busybodies on all sides. What I'd like to say to them? Only they would think to find some small-time right and ban him. Without the freedom to criticize, praise doesn't mean anything. Of course, I still want to hear it all the same. Eventually, they got tired of feeding me in prison and released me. But since I still have to eat, even when I'm not in prison, I sharpen my pen to find a new hot topic. I'm told that while I was in prison, they decided to allow freedom of speech. That is, as long as I don't write about government, politics, morality, public figures, foreign countries, doctors, or opera, I have the absolute freedom to write about whatever I want. I try to use my freedom as best I can. I started a paper called The Unnecessary News. Figured I'd have the whole space myself. But lo and behold, every other paper in the country accused me of plagiarism. I had one last plan. I would have to steal to survive. So I became a banker. But I couldn't keep up. Everyone else expected me to be honest. Well, they were all on the take. With all options seemingly exhausted, I nearly fell into barbarity. Then I realized there was one trade I hadn't tried. So I got hold of some razors, and for a time did well enough as a barber. Then a count came to Seville. I helped him and his wife. And how does that work out? I end up a fool in the dark, again, back where I started. And that's how it goes, from false start to another. What's that? Someone's coming.
See, I told you he'd be here. I'll go hide in the next bush over. Are you ready, my lady? I'll be here, beneath those trees.
I'll just wait here. How cold it is. Here he comes.
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
There seems to be an echo.
Suzanne,
Here I am.
I knew you'd come.
But, my lord, the Countess, don't you still love her?
Of course I do.
Really?
Yes, but Suzanne, I'm only a man. Someone's coming. Let's go over here.
I knew it. She's going with him.
He thinks I'm going with him. He'll pay for this. The fireworks aren't going to be loud, are they? It scares the sheep.
Their fireworks, of course, are going to be loud. How many sheep do you have anyway?
I don't really know. I've never really been able to finish counting.
And why not?
Counting sheep? Where did we stack them?
The sheep?
No, fireworks.
I'm not sure. It was the day out when we put them there. Who would have thought hiding them was a bad idea?
I think they're behind one of these bushes.
No, I think they're over here.
My lady,
Where did the countess go?
can I help you find your way?
Thinks I'm her little double. Why, thank you, my dear Figaro.
Oh, my dear Figaro! How dare you? Pedro, come quickly to the garden.
My lord, the page wasn't in Seville.
Of course not. I already knew that.
I want you to arrest this man.
I told you it was the page that jumped out the window. And he wasn't riding any horse either.
Oh, give it a rest. Stop beating a dead horse.
Well, it was one thing when Mr. Nobody told me that a horse jumped out the window. But I never...
Oh.
Be quiet!
What do you have to say for yourself, Figaro?
That I'll accept an apology.
Oh, that you will accept an apology. You're within an inch of your life, Figaro. Don't pretend to be so cool and collected. Pedro, bring the Countess out here now. She went behind that bush.
My lord, here they are.
No, not them. Ladies, what are you doing out here?
We were looking for the fireworks. That shepherdess we brought with us said the real Lord says to bring a shepherdess whenever you go looking for something.
But now we can't find her either.
Never mind. Pedro. Yeah. That little page!
Oh, Carolina, there you are.
See, I told you he wasn't in Seville.
Page where? Never mind. Pedro. That bush, the one with the flowers. That's where you'll find my wife.
Your wife, Count?
Would you like to be my father?
What? Is this some sort of comedy? What are you all doing out here?
Really? No. How many more bushes are there?
Oh. There's someone back there with Marshall.
I've got her.
And what do you have to say now?
My lord, please forgive.
Yes, my lord. Live up to your namesake. Forgive.
Not even if everyone here begged me to.
We all do, my lord.
Please, my lord.
Never. I said never!
You've all put your faith in the wrong Lord.
Oh, God. It's you. Wait.
Yes, it was me.
Brilliant.
Thought you'd appreciate it once you understood.
Can you forgive me?
I already have.
Is that the truth?
Most honest one I know, anyway.
What do you have to say for yourself, Count?
Only that I ask you for
Forgiveness? I thought you might. But you did not forgive just now when you were given the opportunity to. Why should I?
Because I'm weak. I'm only human.
And I'm not. When you tried to assert your ancient right, when you hounded this poor little page, when you interrogated me, you were a count, a great lord, a nobleman. But now, you are just a man, a mere human being.
You don't understand. I had deceived myself into thinking that
That you could control your subjects, but not yourself. Look at your subjects. They've behaved like lords. Marceline realized her mistake and forgave Suzanne and Dr. Bartholomew theirs. Suzanne forgave Figaro for his pig-headedness just now. And what about me? After everything you've put me through, not only today, but these last few years, I still forgive you. I will not be a servant to my anger and pain anymore. People are not like the statues in your garden. They're like the plants. And you have grown a garden full of weeds because that's what you've cultivated from the very beginning. You starved all else of sunlight, and then you presume to judge. No, Count. True nobility is granting people the opportunity to become better. And that is why I can forgive you. Because I can see the Count who forgives before me, even when he doesn't exist yet. Now, my lord, it's time that you earned that title.
I cannot forgive you.
Really? And after she made such a wonderful speech? A little overwritten, maybe, but really well delivered.
No. I cannot forgive you all until I ask that you all forgive me. Before I ask for forgiveness, I have no right to grant it.
I forgive you.
So do I.
So do I.
So do I.
And I.
Do I have to? He didn't really anger me to begin with.
I forgive him.
Oh, Carabino, you're so noble. I forgive him too.
And I forgive him, even though he made fun of my sash.
Now I forgive you all.
Yay!
Stop. I found the fireworks.
Hooray!
Where were they?
They were over, behind that bush. I was supposed to light them, wasn't I?
Not yet. Why?
It's beautiful, but loud and kind of scary.
Well, maybe we should all move to the terrace. I hate to get blown up right after I put all that effort into my personal growth. Figaro, would you lead the way?
Yes, my lord.